The story begins as Kai stands in the center of a ruined battlefield with his broken hand, while the other three, Ares, Irza, and Johann, surround their enemy at the end of a long and painful war. Kai's eyes blur, and his thoughts drift to a memory of Colette standing with a bouquet of flowers, her quiet smile staying in his mind and giving him the strength to act. He casts Bloody Vine, a magic that rises from the ground and holds the demon lord in place while the others get ready. But before the fight ends, Kai feels a sharp pain in his back as Ares, his brother, stabs him and stands behind him with a smile, calling himself the hero. Kai falls forward, confused and breathless, and as his blood touches the ground, Ares stands with pride and claims the victory as his. Johann steps in and says that someone with powers like the Black Mage should not stand among chosen warriors. Ezra presses his head into the ground and calls him unworthy. Kai's thoughts return to the day they turned 15 and received their classes, his being the Black Mage, feared and looked down upon. Ezra says someone like him should never have stood beside her, and Ares strikes him again, saying that Colette now belongs to him. The moment shifts as Kai remembers how Colette's father breaks their engagement, saying that a saint cannot marry someone with a cursed class. But before ending it completely, her father allows her to meet Kai one last time. At that meeting, she cries as she hands him her bracelet and says goodbye, quietly promising they will meet again. After that, she is taken to the palace where she is tasked with creating protective barriers for the holy city. At the same time, Kai's own father, the head of the Austen family, tells him that if he joins the battle against the Demon Lord and helps win the war, only then will he allow a reunion with Colette. Kai trains in. Silence pushes his class to the limit and reaches level 999, mastering everything the Black Mage can offer. But after all that, he still finds himself betrayed in the final moment. Ares says the Demon Lord rises because of Kai's power and blames him for all the destruction. Kai lies helpless as Ares tells him to disappear and stop crying, saying that Colette will be cared for now. In that moment, Kai wishes he had never fought and had simply left with Colette to live a quiet life away from war. As his vision fades, the last thing he sees is the sky turning gold while two birds sing in the distance. Then, his eyes open. Colette stands before him, calm, her bracelet still on her wrist. Kai touches his chest and feels no wounds, only confusion. She tilts her head and watches him as the morning light fills the room, and nothing makes sense. Kai stares at Colette, unsure if this is a dream or something real. She stands in front of him, smiling softly, looking just like the girl he once knew, young, untouched by time. Her voice is calm as she asks if he is still half asleep, then reminds him that today is the class awakening ceremony. Confused, Kai rubs his eyes again and again, trying to make sense of what is happening. But when he looks down, he notices something even stranger. His body feels young. He calls out to his status window, and it appears without delay. The name still says Kai Austen. His class is Black Mage. His level is 999. At the bottom it shows something new. Status blocked. Entered second time. A heavy truth sinks into him. This is not a dream. Somehow he has returned to the past. No known magic should be able to twist time like this. Not even the Demon Lord could manage such a thing. Then his eyes fall on something that steals his breath. The bracelet. The very same one Colette gave him years ago, before they were torn apart by the world. The one he thought he had lost forever is now back on his wrist. His heart shakes as the memory floods in. Her tears. Her voice begging him not to die. Her hand gripping his tightly. Colette, who once became a saint, had always carried the gift of foresight. She must have seen the end. She must be the reason he is here again. Kai realizes this is his second chance, a gift from her. And this time, he swears, he will not lose her. He looks at her with sudden emotion, and though she seems surprised, there is no anger in her eyes. She simply tells him she still belongs to him, but warns him that once her father learns his class is Black Mage, everything will shift again. Fear surrounds that title. People think it is cursed, dangerous. That fear had torn them apart the first time, but he remembers how she never treated him differently. She once said that a Black Mage is still human, that he was still the same boy inside no matter what others believed. When the world turned away, she stayed. That is what made her special. That is why she still matters more than anything. Kai takes a long breath and asks her not to be afraid. He quietly explains the truth, that he has lived through 5 more years, died, and come back, that he is now a level 999 Black Mage. Colette steps back, confused, but before she can speak, Kai gently asks her to wait. He says he will show her. Slowly, he raises his hand, and from the floor, dark energy begins to rise. A demon forms, large, covered in shadows and powerful. It stands silently behind him. Kai tells her only a black mage of level 99 or more can summon such a creature. This is the proof. His power, his memories, his pain, they are all real. He tells her that this time, their dream of being together will come true. He will not let her go again, but there is no time to waste. Today is when everything starts to fall apart. Today is when the world first rejected him. He looks into her eyes and waits, steady and calm, ready for her to speak, ready to follow her lead. The story continues as Colette sees the demon standing tall behind Kai. Fear flashes across her face, and she instinctively steps back. The dark energy surrounding the creature is overwhelming. Kai quickly notices her reaction and asks her to wait. He apologizes softly for scaring her, but tells her this is the only way to prove that he really is a level 999 black mage. Then he adds something more. If she had truly doubted him, she would not have looked so scared in the first place. His words make her pause. She looks surprised, unsure of what to say. Kai gently calls her name and she finally speaks. She says it is incredible. She had only heard of things like this before, and even then, only knights were believed to face such beings. But what Kai just did, summoning a demon like that, goes far beyond those stories. Khalid explains that black mages are different. They cannot learn fixed skills like other classes. Instead, they have the power to master all kinds of magic. Kai nods and adds that they can also use some of the most powerful spells. She smiles, pleased by his confidence, then playfully tells him he should start calling her by her name Khalid from now on. But then, her tone becomes serious. She tells him to listen carefully. Today he will receive his second class, but there is more. Ares will also be given the Brave class. Another Brave will be born in the Austin family. Kai knows what this means. If Ares becomes brave again, the same tragic path might begin once more. Just then, Ares walks in casually. He calls Kai brother with a grin and jokes about the strange feeling in the air, asking if a demon is nearby. Then he says it is odd to hear Kai talk like that as if hiding something. His smile fades as he accuses Kai of speaking behind people's backs, but Khalid quickly steps in. She defends Kai, her eyes sad, saying that he was not talking behind anyone's back. Then she turns to Kai and softly suggests that maybe they should leave. Maybe it is better not to deal with people like this anymore. Kai, calm but tense, asks, what if he says he does not want to go? Khalid sees his hands shaking slightly. She does not pressure him. She just stands beside him, quiet and steady. But before either of them can say more, a knight enters the room. He informs Ares that the Lord is calling for him. Ares nods and leaves without another word. Kai and Khalid watch him walk away. Then, without speaking, both decide to leave the place together. As they walk through the city, Kai looks around. The streets and buildings feel familiar yet far away, filling him with quiet sadness. Khalid walks beside him and agrees that it really has been a while. He is a little surprised she still calls him Kai, just like she always used to. It makes him feel like maybe nothing has changed yet. As they walk through a crowded street, a man greets Kai warmly, thanking him for defeating Goratsuki the other day. Kai simply nods. No one knows yet that he is a black mage, and for now, he wants it that way. But in his mind, the future plays again. He remembers when the demon lord attacks, how half the city will fall, the barrier will break. To stop the destruction, the royal palace will activate a new shield, one that will cost many lives. He remembers the day he was summoned only to be exposed as a black mage and cast out from the Austin family. That day, Colette was taken away from him. Colette speaks gently, saying she does not want that to happen again. Kai turns to her and says he does not want it either. He wants to stay with her, always. She listens quietly. Then he asks if she will go with him together. Khalid looks at him and softly asks if that is a proposal. Kai smiles and says that it is. Her face lights up with joy. She says she is happy. They should be together, forever. They hold each other. For a moment, time stands still. Nothing else matters. In his first life, Kai thinks he was a fool. If he had just done this before, maybe everything could have been different. He silently thanks her. He wishes he had hugged her sooner. Later, as they plan, Kai tells her about their next move. They will hide in a village far from the capital. That place will be safe from the war that is coming. It should take 3 days to reach. On the way, he plans to stop in Gaizat and prevent the rise of the demon cult. Khalid listens closely and smiles. That is just like him, she says, always trying to protect everyone. She promises that she too will chase the truth. She says that when the final battle comes, she will not forget what he has done. They both know how dangerous this is. In the future he came from, the one called Brave, the one the world trusted, was actually the cause of its destruction. But Kai still has hope. If he can save Sasha, Griselda's friend, maybe he can stop the demon lord from rising at all. And with that small hope, Kai decides it is time to begin the rebellion. A rebellion that will break the cruel future. The scene shifts. Ares walks into a dark chamber. Inside, Griselda sits in silence. She is imprisoned, but her eyes are still sharp. Ares asks if she has changed her mind about killing Kai. Griselda stands frozen, staring at Ares in disbelief. She asks if he truly expects her to kill his own twin brother. Her voice shakes as she says she doesn't take orders from someone like him. Ares narrows his eyes. His voice drops cold as he warns her that she clearly doesn't understand what happens to those who disobey. He reminds her that she's under containment, and if it weren't for that, she would have already been dealt with. Griselda doesn't back down. She demands to know what he plans to do. Ares answers without mercy. He says she's his slave now, and she must learn her place. He orders her to kill Kai immediately. As he speaks Kai's name, there's a twisted pride in his tone. He says today, the brave will be chosen, and if it ends up being that fool Kai, then both Khalit and the Uibas brave title will fall into his hands. He snarls that he cannot allow that. Both Khalit and the brave class belong to him alone. Power, the light attribute, fame, strength, he claims it all as his right. He rattles off a list of false charges, unauthorized entry, property damage, but justifies them, saying everything is allowed once he becomes the brave. Ares' voice rises. If he gains the brave title, he says, he can take anything he wants, even women. He repeats that he must become the brave. His voice shakes with rage as he blames Kai for standing in his way. He tells Griselda if she kills Kai, he'll make sure. She receives brave status in return. He calls today his last chance as a noble. Then his tone changes. He mocks her for acting noble and proud when she's just something he purchased. He tells her to stop questioning him and just obey. Griselda's eyes flare. She reminds him who she is, a proud vampire with the demon lord's blood in her veins. Even if she's bound under his control, she refuses to obey such twisted orders. Ares snaps, calling her useless. He shouts that he spent everything on her, then lifts his weapon and says he'll simply get rid of her. As he steps forward to strike, a voice cuts through the air. Sasha cries out, begging him to stop. Her voice trembles with fear as she pleads for him not to hurt Griselda. Ares ignores her. He tells them to go inside and stay out of it. Then, without warning, he slams his foot into Griselda's face and throws her into the wall. She hits it hard. He laughs bitterly, mocking her. He says a child from the Austin family means nothing. He spits on her pride, saying demons like her pretend to be human but will never belong. He says his father always ruled with fear and power, and so will he. He offers Griselda one final chance. He demands she say it aloud that she will obey, that she will act like a slave and follow orders without question. Griselda lies on the floor, pain in her eyes. Slowly, she lifts her head and says she'll do it if it means protecting Sasha. Sasha is still crying, pleading with Ares to stop. Griselda tries to calm her, whispering that everything will be fine. She agrees quietly to become the brave servant if that's the only way to keep Sasha safe. But Sasha cries even harder. She begs Griselda not to give up her pride. Her voice shakes as she pleads for her sister to stay true to herself. Griselda turns in surprise, whispering Sasha's name like a question. Ares explodes with rage. He screams at Griselda, furious that she's still ignoring him. He calls her a worthless traitor. Then with ice in his voice, he says it's fine, she can just die. As Ares raises his weapon to kill Griselda, Kai suddenly appears and shouts for him to stop. Ares turns, shocked to see Kai standing there. Before he can react, Kai steps forward and punches him hard. The blow sends Ares crashing to the floor. Griselda and Sasha gasp, stunned by what they see. Sasha rushes to Griselda's side, eyes wide. Griselda exhales with relief, whispering thanks that Kai arrived in time. He silently prepares to use his power, an advanced form of magical control through conscious intent. Kai steps forward, raising his hand. He says, "This is black magic," his version of healing. The wounds on Griselda begin to close instantly. He tells her that he will heal her fully. He looks at her and thinks to himself that Griselda was once seen as an enemy, but the one in front of him now is not a demon lord or a threat. It's just a broken girl, a slave forced into pain by others. He casts Dark Heal. The energy surrounds her wounds, and they vanish in seconds. Even the lingering traces of sealing magic disappear without a trace. Griselda, once bound and bleeding, is now free. Both sisters, Griselda and Sasha, hug each other tightly, relieved to be safe. Griselda, still catching her breath, says that ever since their territory was stolen by the demon hunter Ezra, she believed they were finished. Kai hears this and quietly mutters to himself, asking if she could be referring to the red magic swordswoman. Griselda turns to him and asks if he knows her. Kai answers that he knows her very well. He explains that Ezra once led a campaign with thousands of adventurers to destroy demon territory. Her goal was never justice. According to her, money was everything. She made a great fortune by kidnapping demons and selling them. Despite this cruelty, she was supported by many humans. With her same power and ability, Ezra had joined the Brave Party at just 17 years old. Remembering that, Kai clenches his fist. Being her former comrade still makes him feel sick. He feels like throwing something just thinking about it. Griselda turns to him and thanks him sincerely. She says he is their savior and that she is deeply grateful. She asks for his name. He replies that he is Kai. She pauses, then realizes he is Ares' brother. Another demon, possibly Sasha, looks at Kai with confusion and asks if he isn't the brave. She then questions why someone like him would save demons. Kai calmly responds that he has no place in human society anymore. They notice the dark aura forming around his hands. Griselda identifies it as Dark Heal. They realize he's using advanced magic. They are shocked to see that he can cast high-level spells, 12 at the same time. That level of magic shouldn't be possible at his age. Kai admits they are right. It's unusual. One of them says they're not fully convinced, but they can sense it's true. Still, Kai wonders why they have such power and why they are here. Griselda simply says that it doesn't matter. What matters is that they can trust him. Then Griselda adds something else. Ares had planned to kill Kai just to get the brave class. Kai's expression darkens. He quietly asks what she means. She tells him again that Ares wanted to kill him. If Kai hadn't come when he did, she says she would have lost something important. Kai is shocked. Once again, Ares had planned to murder him. He lowers his head, lost in thought. He remembers that after this moment in the previous timeline, Griselda fell into despair. That pain turned into hatred, and she waged war against humanity, causing the deaths of many. Kai realizes everything started with Ares. All of it is his fault. He clenches his fists, thinking darkly. Ares, wouldn't it be better to kill him now? Voices from his past echo in his head. Ares had once spat out cruel words, calling him a useless black mage, a disgrace and a failure as an older brother. Ares declared that he would take Khalit and everything Kai had left. He knows if he kills Ares now, everything might end here. But he also knows what it would cost. Khalit because she still believes in Ares. If Kai kills him now, he will hurt her deeply. He thinks his thoughts are no better than stepping on a lizard. Kai is deep in thought when suddenly, a small lizard crawls out of his hand and slips into Ares' mouth. Griselda and Sasha both freeze, shocked. The lizard disappears inside as Ares flinches. Griselda stares and realizes what just happened. She says it's a living curse just as expected. Sasha asks what kind of curse it is. Kai explains that it will stay inside him like a living hell. Ares lies unconscious. Griselda steps closer, examining him. She notes how strange it is. Even demons who master dark magic rarely reach this level. She says it's getting more suspicious. Kai looks at both of the sisters and points out that his clothes are a mess. He suggests doing something about it. Both sisters look at him, shocked. He calmly casts dark magic, Wallach clothes. Flames rise, and from the fire, new clothes form and wrap around both the sisters, changing their appearance. Kai steps back and says, it's better if he doesn't do it here. He turns his face away to give space. Griselda smiles and says her sister looks good, even wearing simple clothes. She thanks him for the trust. He smiles and thanks her back. She then asks for a moment. There's something she needs to understand. She asks if he really came from 5 years in the future. Kai nods and say that in that future, he was killed by Ares and betrayed by the Brave Party. That's why he no longer trusts the Brave, or the system, or even the humans who command them. Griselda listens carefully. She says if what he says is true, then his information explains a lot. She adds that if he were lying, he would have come up with a better story. Griselda says that above all, Kai is their savior, but she asks what he plans to do from now on. Kai replies that he is going to destroy Ezra. Griselda stares at him in disbelief and asks if he's serious. Kai confirms it and says Ezra has turned their people into slaves and is stealing valuable resources from their territory. Even now, his people are suffering. Griselda steps forward with hope in her eyes. Kai places a hand on his chest and promises that he will get it all back. Griselda begins to cry. She says she can't believe it and is so glad. With this, she can finally face her late father with pride. Kai asks if she and Khalit can live in Griselda's land. She says yes, Khalit is his fiancé, and their engagement stands. Griselda finally understands. She says this is what he meant when he asked her to cooperate. If that's the case, she says, there is no problem. Kai adds that Khalit is going to receive the same class today. But Griselda warns him if he takes Khalid away, the Holy Kingdom will send knights after him. She has seen it in the future. Even if the kingdom moves, Kai stays calm. Without fear, Kai takes the hands of both sisters. Fire rises around them. In a flash, the three begin to disappear together, vanishing into the flame. They arrive in a flash. Griselda looks up and says it's time. Kai steps ahead, telling them to stay behind him. Griselda watches him move. She wonders if he was always this fast. Laughter rings out. Ares appears, smiling. He looks at Kai and asks how his brother is doing. Kai shouts in anger and casts a spell. A dark magic circle forms, tilting. The ground breaks apart as the spell activates. A burst of fire shoots up, and Ares stumbles back. From within the flames, Kai steps forward. He says there's no doubt. This is the Demon Lord's favorite spell. Tilting boosts the user's power based on dark magic. It's the perfect weapon for a level 999 Black Mage. Ares stands in shock, stares at Kai, and wonders if this could really be Black Mage magic. He mutters that it's a tragedy that Kai, the former Brave candidate, ended up with the worst class, Black Mage, while he himself received Brave. He activates Heraldry and the Brave skill reviving life. His wounds heal completely. As expected, Ares has received the Brave class. He laughs and says his time has finally come. He declares he will defeat Kai. Both sisters are shocked. The energy crashes like thunder. This is the Brave's power. Ares grins, saying he will return the favor. He laughs again, saying he never thought the day would come when he would stand here, holding the symbol of the Brave. He shouts to the world that he is the righteous, the sword of the Brave. It is the proof that he has reached the top. Griselda and Sasha both stare in shock. The sacred sword in Ares' hand, Burundal, gives off a terrifying amount of magic. Sasha whispers that it's frightening, even for someone like Kai. But Kai knows this sword well. Burundal is the holy sword that killed him in his first life. Ares laughs and mocks him, calling him a demon brother. He points the sword at Kai and says to cry and apologize. Ares says he is the Brave now. He asks if Kai can't see the difference between them. Black Mage and Brave, he claims there's no comparison. The sacred sword stands for absolute justice, and magic like Kai's should not exist beside it. Kai stays calm and says he's heard enough. He tells Ares to come at him. As a mere Black Mage, he'll show what real strength looks like. He says he'll break the sacred sword Ares is so proud of. If the Brave loses to a Black Mage, Ares won't be able to show his face again. Ares smirks and says if Kai wants to die so badly, he'll grant his wish. He powers up his magic. But even as he roars, Kai doesn't flinch. His quiet presence pushes back against Ares' noise. He might be the Brave, but Kai sees through it now. Ares is nothing more than a name. Kai knows the truth that he has received, a hidden class in this second life. A special class granted only to those who mastered Black Mage in their first. Dark Star. It allows him to learn all dark-type skills. As he learns, he gains will points, which he can trade to gain unique abilities. Ares stares in disbelief as Kai calmly says he's now even beyond a Black Mage. The system confirms it that he received Dark Star unlocked and received will points, 1,000. Ares shouts that Kai has helped demons and become a disgrace to the Brave name. Kai doesn't flinch. He says he understands now that maybe he really is evil by their standards. But that's fine. He opens his system menu and checks the available skills. A list appears. Summon Demon costs 4,000 will points, Deathbringer 500, Darkness Zone 300, Dark Meteor 900, Wave of Darkness 100, Bloodbind 100, and Life Absorb 200. At the bottom, a special skill catches his eye, Summon Demon Sword. It requires EP, not will points. The system displays a warning, do not look away. Before Kai can act, Ares charges with his sword. He rushes in, aiming to strike. But Kai sidesteps calmly. He says this kind of wild attack will only make it harder to land a hit. Kai feels something strange. His magic is being absorbed. He narrows his eyes and realizes the sword is draining it. He mutters that this is no ordinary weapon, it's designed to steal energy. Ares grins, knowing exactly what's happening. Griselda gasps and says she's sure of it now. That sword is a weapon made by her father during the Demon War, Demon's Bane. Ares looks straight at Kai and says he doesn't know how to hold back anymore. Kai replies with confusion, asking what this absorption ability is. Ares explains that the sword isn't just draining magic, but it's converting it into destructive power. Kai clenches his fists. Ares mocks him, asking if he doesn't understand elemental balance. He explains that the sacred sword runs on light magic, and light becomes stronger when fighting against dark. That's why it's so effective, therefore. Light doubles in strength when used against darkness. The sword begins to glow. Ares smiles cruelly. He says he'll show Kai the true power of the sacred sword. He swings with full force, using brave final strike. A beam of light erupts. Ares declares that this is true bravery. Both sisters watch in shock as the ground shakes. Ares yells that everything belongs to him because of his status, honor, even Khalit. He says Kai should have run away when he had the chance. He shouts that he has waited for this moment. Normally, a demon's weapon can't scratch a sacred sword, but Final Strike drains its energy temporarily. Kai counters with his own magic. The sacred sword clashes with Kai's dark power and shatters. The blade breaks in two, and Ares is thrown to the ground with force. Kai breathes heavily and stares at the fragments. He understands now why it's called the strongest sword. The magic it consumed was enormous. He estimates he can only use this level of power for 15 minutes. If he had tried it when he was level 1, it would have killed him. The system announces, "Congratulations, Kai has destroyed the sacred sword and defeated the brave. A live achievement has been gained." Kai opens his hand, claiming the prize. Ares lies on the ground, unconscious and barely breathing. Kai steps closer and says he won't be waking up anytime soon. Griselda nods in agreement. Sasha steps forward and adds that there's no need to worry, because reviving life, the Brave's resurrection skill, can only be used once upon death. It won't activate again. Griselda looks at Ares and says the curse has begun to move. When Ares tried to harm others, the curse reacted. The heraldry of light is the proof of the brave has shifted. Now it merges with darkness. The very symbol that once called for honor and glory is changing into something opposite. From this moment on, Ares will be known not as a hero, but as a cursed brave. His fall will damage the Austen family's reputation forever. Griselda's eyes narrow. This is her revenge against Ares and their father, who took everything from her. She points to the broken sacred sword. This curse, tied to the heraldry, has destroyed the identity of the brave. Ares' legacy is ruined. For a hero, this fate is no different than death. There's no doubt that Kai is the savior of the demon race. Griselda looks at him and admits she was wrong. She once feared the demon lord would bring ruin, but now she sees the truth. Kai is not a destroyer. He is the one who will lead them, and is the true demon lord. The scene shifts to a grassy field. Khalit sits by a stream, staring at the sky. She wonders what Kai is doing and hopes he is safe. Later, she holds Archie in her lap. He is in a small, quiet form. She gently strokes him and says, "Nothing matters, if Kai is not hurt." She smiles a little, saying his wing sounds are cute. Then Archie lifts his head. His voice turns serious. He warns her to hide. If the Holy Knights find out Colette-sama is gone, they will come for her with swords drawn. Colette nods. She wipes her eyes and looks at the sky again. A tear falls as she whispers for Kai to come back soon. The scene shifts to the battlefield where Griselda kneels before Kai. She calls him Demon Lord Sama. Kai looks shocked and asks if she really means that. Griselda nods. Kai tells her to calm down. It does not mean he is the Demon Lord, just because he used the demon sword. But Griselda firmly replies that Summon Demon Sword is a magic only a true demon lord can use. It is not a normal spell. She adds that only someone with the demon lord class can destroy the sacred sword and defeat the brave. Sasha adds that those feats are impossible for anyone else. She looks up at Kai and says with certainty that he now holds the right to be called the strongest demon lord in history. Kai frowns, thinking this is a problem. Everyone truly believes he is the demon lord. But maybe it is easier this way. Being accepted by demons might be more convenient. Griselda steps forward and says, if he is the demon lord, then the next step is to sign the demon subordination contract. Kai is surprised. Griselda explains that the contract is a special skill only the demon lord can use. Those who sign it are given powerful classes by the demon lord and, in return, give full loyalty. Kai opens his system and checks the menu. New skills are listed, and the system confirms he met the requirement during the last battle. He sees the contract option and reads the available classes. Demon Captain with high attack power, Demon General, with control skills, and Four-Fanged King as a top commander. Now he understands why the demon army's leaders were always so strong. It is because they were all bound by this contract. The system displays a message. signing the demon's subordination. Contract creates a binding agreement between both parties. The demon lord can grant a class, but also take it away by ending the contract. Anyone who rebels will face death. Kai reads the warning and stays quiet. The idea of loyalty through force feels harsh. He asks if such a system is real. Griselda nods, saying it is the foundation of demon loyalty, passed down by her father. She adds that if a new demon lord appears, it is fate, and Kai, being kind, deserves trust. Kai sighs and says he understands. He looks at them and asks if they are ready. Both Griselda and Sasha nod. Griselda says this is what she wants. Sasha adds it would be an honor. The system then notifies, demon subordination contract acquired. Kai turns to Sasha and says he wants to grant her the demon general class. Sasha is shocked, her eyes wide. She asks if that is really okay. Kai nods, smiling. He says it is a good thing. Griselda gently consoles Sasha, telling her that the demon general class is not chosen just for fighting power. It is given to those with true loyalty. She says it is the perfect class for someone like Sasha. Sasha turns to Griselda and asks how it feels. Kai looks at her and gently asks how it is. Sasha stands tall and pledges her words to Kai-sama, requesting him to bestow upon her the glorious class of Demon General and declaring her full loyalty to him. The system activates, and the power flows into her. Sasha shouts that it is overflowing. Griselda smiles and explains that this is the true demon. Subordination contract. Kai watches as Sasha accepts the class and power. She kneels, swearing loyalty. With this, she is officially a demon general. She asks for strength to protect the demons. Her voice is steady. She says the title is glorious, and she will carry it with honor, forever loyal to Kai. Kai looks at Griselda and thinks, even if left alone, she is strong enough to become a demon lord herself. He can trust her with great responsibility. Griselda says she never imagined the day would come when she would make a subordination contract with the demon lord, but she welcomes it. Kai smiles and offers her the 4 Heavenly Kings class. Griselda accepts. Flames swirl around her as a powerful force awakens inside. She declares she has become one of Kai-sama's honorable 4 Heavenly Kings. Kai nods, saying it is just as expected from Demon Griselda. Sasha steps forward and congratulates her. Griselda replies that they escaped from the Brave's control and are now under Kai-sama's command. Sasha adds that she is ready to serve too, and hopes to be useful. The 2 sisters hug, united in purpose. Griselda says proudly that she defeated Ares and brought the demon lord to their side. Fate is clearly changing. Suddenly, Kai's father appears. He looks around the scene, eyes sharp, and demands an explanation. The divine knight, Geese, arrives on the scene. He sees Ares lying unconscious on the ground and demands to know the reason. His eyes narrow further when he notices Kai standing alongside demons. Kai steps forward, shielding Griselda, as a holy figure approaches. One of the guards identifies the man as the commander of the Holy Knights, Kai's father. The guards check Ares and confirm that he is still breathing. The father questions Kai's absence from the class reveal ceremony and demands to know his whereabouts. When asked about his future, Kai answers with certainty. He will no longer follow the path of the brave. He now walks the path of the demon lord. The father becomes furious, unable to accept what he hears. He accuses Kai of abandoning the pride and justice of the Austin family. But Kai reflects on the justice his father always spoke of since his childhood. It was a justice that served power more than truth, pride more than kindness, and control more than care. A flashback begins. Years ago, Kai's father had once offered him a place in the demon lord's subjugation, saying he might be allowed back into the Austin family. Now, standing before him, Kai recalls how twisted that offer truly was. Calling it subjugation had only been an excuse to turn his own child into a weapon. Kai understands now that it had never been about justice. It had been ego, and if that was justice, he fully accepts being called evil. The father glares and accuses Kai's dark class of corrupting him. He warns that things will not go the way they did before. Kai remains calm and declares that both his father and the Austin family are useless to him now. At that moment, Divine Commander Geese reports a serious problem. Fire begins to rise from the Austin mansion. Flames spread quickly across the area. The stables are already burning. Guards panic and scatter. The father demands an explanation and accuses Kai of orchestrating the fire. Kai replies that he only made the fight appear flashy. No lives will be lost. The system displays a message. Congratulations. The player has set fire to his parents' house. It is labeled a wonderful evil deed. A reward is granted. Kai checks the reward and receives a new passive skill titled Attribute Enhancement. With every level up, his dark attribute power will increase by 1%. This unexpected bonus brings a quiet smile to his face. He looks back at his father. For him, this is justice. The father, enraged, commands all troops to eliminate Kai, declaring that Kai is no longer his son. But before any of the soldiers can move, a single blast of dark magic strikes the ground. The troops freeze. The father attempts to speak again, but Kai steps forward without hesitation. He has known all along that things would end this way. With a single blow, he shatters his father's arm. The sword drops from his father's hand and hits the ground. One of the knights gasps, recognizing the strike, and turns to Commander Geese with a question about demon sword magic. The commander, still stunned, observes that Kai has abandoned his humanity. The father clenches his teeth and orders a healing spell for his arm, but nothing happens. He looks down and realizes that the wound is not healing. Kai then explains, the strike was done using Eternal Blood, a high-tier black magic skill that only a level 850 black mage can learn. It disables all forms of recovery. Kai cast it the moment the blow landed. The bleeding has stopped, but the damage is permanent. He calls it his final act of filial piety. The father, still in disbelief, demands to know how Kai is capable of using such high-level magic, despite having only recently received the class. He stares at his damaged arm, now understanding the truth. Any warrior who loses their dominant arm is no longer of use in battle. Kai reminds him that in his previous life, the father gave the order for his execution, and that order was carried out. Now the past has returned to this moment. Kai briefly closes his eyes and remembers the pain. The father stumbles backward, speechless and defeated. The system flashes another message. Congratulations. The player has left his father beyond recovery. 500 evil points are awarded. Geese stands motionless as the once powerful leader of the Austen family falls to his knees, broken and helpless. Kai's father sits weakly on the ground, clutching his shattered arm. Ares lies nearby, barely breathing, unable to move. The father, eyes wide with shock, looks toward Ares and mutters to himself, if Kai is not the brave, then surely Ares must be the one chosen. He clings to the prophecy of Saint Johann, insisting it must be true. He demands recovery magic be cast on Ares. He still believes that together with the brave, they can crush the evil black mage. One of the knights stares in confusion. He points out the strange symbol on Ares' body. It is the darkness heraldry. Ares seems to have received a black magic class. The knight refuses to believe it, stating that Saint Johann's prophecy cannot be wrong. Kai steps forward and explains that Ares did receive the brave class just now, but it was corrupted. Due to Kai's curse, the light heraldry was disguised as the darkness heraldry. He says he knows Ares' power well, because in his past life, he was part of the Brave Party. Johann's unique skill had allowed Ares to see fragments of the future up to 7 days in advance. That memory and that knowledge flash through Kai's mind. He knows he must get rid of Johann before it is too late. Kai turns to his father. All the years of effort, and in the end, his father gave birth to a cursed class. The Austen family legacy has crumbled. The father panics, shouting that this is a nightmare and wonders what will become of the Austen family's glory. The knights asks what should be done with Ares. Should recovery magic be cast on him? The father shakes his head. He says there is no need. Ares, now tied to a dark class, is no longer worthy. The Austen family has no place for someone like that. He gives a final order and tells them to take care of it. Kai looks down at them and calmly states that this is the end. The brave they were hoping for is lying broken, while the one they feared stands before them. His goal is complete. His business here is done. He turns to leave. The father calls out, questioning if Kai is really going to walk away with demons. Kai answers without hesitation. He confirms that he will. These demons have shown more kindness and heart than any of the humans who cast him aside. A painful memory flashes through Kai's mind. He remembers people calling him a low-class failure. Johann, Ares, and even strangers had once mocked him, treating him as worthless. He remembers it all, but now things are different. He looks ahead and tells himself that Khalid is the only human he can truly trust. He walks toward Griselda and Sasha and informs them it is time to go. Sasha, looking at him with quiet strength, says that after seeing the cruelty of humans, she now believes demons have the bigger heart. Griselda agrees. They both say the light shining from the demons is brighter than anything they have known. As they walk, Kai looks back one last time and says farewell to his father, who still lies on the floor, defeated. They step toward the gate A knight sees them leaving and quickly asks what is going on inside. Kai calmly replies that everything is settled and that there is no need for his father to see him again. He adds that he will eliminate anyone who tries to follow him. Then, without another word, he disappears. The knight stares, stunned by the sudden vanishing. Moments later, Kai, Sasha, and Griselda arrive at Griselda's territory. Sasha looks around in awe, surprised at how far they have come using magic. Griselda turns to Kai with a smile and praises him for showing no mercy to his father. Kai laughs lightly and thanks her. Griselda then asks if they are heading to her territory now. Kai nods and confirms, but adds that before that, there is one place he must go first, Lax Village, where Khalid is. Kai stands deep in thought. After a moment, he says that just in case, he should train Griselda and Sasha. The two look surprised and ask if they can still grow stronger. Kai raises his hand and speaks a command. A flash of dark fire surrounds them. He announces that they have learned the level 10 Dark Attribute Enhancer skill. Griselda's eyes widen as she feels the power awaken within her. She says it is incredible, like a burning force floating inside her. Sasha gasps, feeling the surge, and says it is intense but exciting. Kai explains that it is one of the special abilities granted through the Demon Subordination contract. It allows him to share skills directly with his subordinates. Sasha, curious, checks her system. She realizes the skill has not just been borrowed. It is now part of her list permanently. Rather than learning, it feels like true sharing. Sasha quietly thanks him, and Griselda follows with a soft apology. Kai nods. Griselda suggests they take a short break. While sitting along the roadside, Kai notices something on the ground. He puts his hand under the pocket and takes out a bracelet. It is Khalid's bracelet. His eyes widen. Holding it gently, he wonders if she is safe. He stares at the bracelet, remembering the moment she gave it to him as a gift, wishing him well. Though cracked, it still carries strong magic. Just then, the system sends a notification. Appraisal skill unlocked. 500 points used. Allows user to view item properties and effects. Kai activates the skill. The system responds. Bracelet, made for a union between two loved ones, contains traces of time magic. Though its power to control time is gone, it increases magic defense 5%. He understands everything. It is just as he thought. The bracelet helped him return to the past. He grips it tightly, whispering that it is her power that brought him back. He remembers her tears, her final gift, and her belief in him. Kai holds the bracelet close. The Austin family is already collapsing. The future can still be changed. He swears they will be happy together. Maybe Khalid, too, has a hidden class, just like him. He looks ahead with purpose. The flashback from Khalid's separation comes in front of his eyes. The scene shifts to another place. Johan quietly notes the result. He confirms that Stand Down has succeeded. He has found her. The scent of time. Khalid. The scene shifts to the village where a group of knights has just restrained villagers. They speak calmly, confirming that they have located the general area of the scent of time, Colette. Further interrogation is deemed unnecessary. Before returning, the knights are instructed to use forgetting magic on all townspeople. One town man hesitates, questioning the use of the spell and warning that it may drive people mad. Johan dismisses the concern. If someone insists on avoiding the spell, he orders them to be killed one by one. No objections follow. Elsewhere, Khalid is running, chased by knights. She is confused and frightened. Archie senses danger and regrets not noticing sooner. A knight predicts that by capturing her, they will save the holy capital. He declares that he does not care about demons or the Demon King. Only power matters. What makes power possible is time, and Khalid's presence cannot be overlooked. Khalid freezes when she sees them. The aura surrounding them turns cold. One knight notes the sky is raining. Another says it is nightfall and suspects the time. Saint has sensed something using her mysterious gift. Johan, however, doubts it. Khalid cries, saying she cannot escape. Archie watches, tense. The knights approach. Khalid, holding back fear, says everything can be resolved if they just talk. Johan steps forward and bows, addressing her with respect. She recognizes him and confirms her identity, revealing the black mark on her hand. Johan smiles, confirming her as the Time Saint. When Colette asks about the purpose behind the elaborate welcome, he explains that prophecy has revealed the birth of the Demon King. Her power is needed to protect the holy capital using a great barrier. Colette responds with calm disbelief. She believes the Demon King's birth has already been stopped by the true hero, Kai. She reminds him that the prophecy claimed the Demon King would be born today and half the population would die, but none of that has happened. She says it must be because of Kai. Johan is stunned and asks how she knows the prophecy. Khalid says she heard it from Kai himself. He came from 5 years in the future and saved many lives today. She says clearly that Kai is the true hero. Johan steps back, shaken. He mutters to himself, unsure of what is happening. Then, his voice drops to a quiet realization. He laughs bitterly and admits it. He now sees a living witness from the second loop. Johan laughs and calmly states that the Kai Colette has been speaking of is the son of the Austin family. Colette confirms it. Johan's smile fades slightly. He calls it unfortunate that someone born into a noble house would use the terrifying power of the abyss to nearly kill his own brother, rebel against the family, and even set the Austin mansion on fire. Colette reacts with shock, repeating the words to herself. Johan continues without emotion, stating that there is nothing wrong with his prophecy. Kai Austin is clearly the evil demon king, and Colette is siding with him. Her composure begins to shake. Johan slowly raises a finger and points it toward her. He says capturing the Time Saint cannot be avoided. He declares that Kai Austin of the second loop is a major threat, but because of his connection to Colette, using her as a hostage might stop him from acting. Johan also believes this may help extract key information from him. Colette yells for him to stop, but Johan is sure. Now. To him, the Time Saint is the key to unlocking the second loop. In his mind, the day he rules the world is now within reach. The Demon Lord appears. A monstrous demon rushes in and attacks the knights trying to capture Colette. One knight calls out to Johan, but fear silences them. Colette watches. She had hoped to solve this through words, but now she sees Kai was right. Peace is no longer possible. Johan stumbles back, shouting as he recognizes the archdemon. His calm breaks. Colette steps forward and calls him the source of holy corruption, demanding repentance. Johan falls to his knees, laughing weakly, begging for mercy. The Demon Lord walks toward him. His voice is low. He agrees with Colette's words. He mocks Johan for trying to escape with lies and prepares to deliver judgment. The Demon Lord steps forward and tells everyone to wait. Johan quickly says the Pope forced him and that he did not want to do this. He adds that if the Demon King is not born, there is no reason to chase the Time Saint. Colette asks if it is true. Johan swears it is. She nods and tells everyone to drop their weapons. The knights and Johan agree. Johan then asks to heal the injured knights. Colette offers, but he refuses, and says it is their fault. She understands. Johan heals them himself and tells the knights to enjoy the magic. Then he starts laughing and calls Colette a sweet woman. One knight who takes his potion suddenly falls. Colette is shocked. The Demon Lord demands to know what is going on. The fallen knight grows into a giant. Johan says it is a level booster. He also transforms, reaching level 800. His hands stretch and his nails turn into blades. He says he is strong enough to fight a demon. Then he turns to Colette and says she is unguarded. He casts a spell, Holy Arrow. Colette stands frozen as the magic flies toward her. Johan casts the sacred arrow at Colette. He smiles as the light shoots forward. A demon rushes in front of her, takes the hit, and falls hard to the ground. Colette sees the magic and realizes it is an arc-level spell. Her eyes widen in shock. She cannot believe what just happened. The demon cries out in pain, and the nearby guards lower their heads in silence. Johan laughs, mocking the demon for becoming a loyal servant. He says it is pathetic for a high-level demon to act like a dog. Then he turns to the holy knight beside him and gives a quiet signal. The knight nods and faces Colette. He says they are doing what is right. The rest of the knights move with him, closing in on her. Johan speaks again, explaining that light is stronger than darkness. He says using the element of light is smart, not cowardly. Then he points at Colette and says she has no right to be called a saint. He lifts his chin and claims he is the true symbol of justice, chosen for a holy mission. The demon on the ground opens its eyes. Hurt and weak, it still manages to speak. It tells Colette to run. She turns to escape, but the giant knight steps in front of her. He blocks her path and raises his weapon. He looks at the fallen demon with anger, ready to strike. As the giant knight lifts his weapon, his body begins to shake. Blood bursts from his mouth, ears, and skin. He drops to his knees, overwhelmed by pain. Words pour out of him repeatedly. It hurts. It hurts. Desperate, he calls for Johan, pleading for help, but Johan steps back in disgust, refusing to move. He glares at the knight with cold eyes and spits out a bitter insult. Colette rushes forward and kneels beside the knight. Her hands glow as she channels healing magic. Warm light surrounds him. The knight trembles and whispers how gentle her touch feels. Regret fills his voice. Blood still seeps from his mouth as he apologizes for his actions. Johan turns away, his expression twisted. With disdain, He calls the sight beneath him unworthy of mercy. His tone sharpens. He had expected this outcome. They had modified the strengthening potion many times, but the flaw was never fixed. Khalid rises and stares at him. Her voice does not shake. She names him the real demon, not Kai. Johann grins, unfazed. The moment amuses him. To him, Khalid's choice of ally, an archdemon, proves her corruption. He labels her mind tainted, no different from the Demon King's followers. Before she can respond, Johann lifts his hand. Holy binds activates. Chains of light snap around Khalid's body and pull her to the ground. She struggles, but the magic holds tight. Johann declares her forbidden from helping the enemy. The magic seals its rule. Any attempt to break it will only cause her more pain. Khalid cries out. She knows Kai is not the enemy. Johann's laughter echoes in the air. He mocks her feelings, calling them beautiful but foolish. In his eyes, love will fade and leave only pain behind. Khalid lies on the ground, unconscious, calling Kai's name. Johann stands over her, flipping open a holy book. A knight steps forward, uneasy. He remembers how the saint showed them mercy. Johann calls him a nuisance and labels him another heretic. Khalid stirs. She says this is too cruel. She believes God is watching and that punishment will come. Johann smirks. He says the same God gave him the saint's title. He claims he is justice, and she is the one who should be judged. Khalid cries, calling Kai's name again. She did not want things to end like this. She whispers, she is sorry. Johann laughs, saying the saint will be his tool. Even the second, Demon King will not stop him now. He waits for the moment to face Kai. The scene shifts. Kai stands above the village, scanning the land. He wonders if Khalid made it there safely. Later at home, dinner is ready. Sasha places the food on the table. Kai steps in, worn out from using Shadow Step again and again. He takes a seat, hungry. As Kai reaches for the food, it suddenly changes. A dark shadow forms over the table, shaping into an archdemon. Griselda steps back and looks at Kai. He stays calm. The magic power he gave to the archdemon has returned, which means the demon was defeated. He gives the order to report. The archdemon kneels and appears fully. Kai asks about Khalid. The archdemon lowers his head. He apologizes deeply. Khalid has been taken. Griselda and Sasha sit together, talking. They both admire how skilled Lord Kai is. Griselda points out how quickly he gathers food. Sasha remembers that Kai once said he traveled alone for a long time, which explains his survival skills. Griselda nods and adds that he even knows the habits of forest rabbits. She recalls how impressed she was when he caught one with ease. She thinks to herself how incredible he truly is. Sasha glances at Griselda and notices something in her tone. She smiles softly, sensing something unspoken. Griselda asks what it is, but Sasha just laughs and looks away. Griselda presses her to speak, but before Sasha can answer, Kai enters the room. Griselda turns to him, sensing something is wrong. She asks what happened. Kai's expression is serious. He says, Colette has been taken. Griselda looks at Kai and asks if something has happened. Kai explains that the archdemon who was guarding Colette has been defeated. Griselda is shocked. She knows that kind of demon is high-ranking and nearly impossible to take down unless faced with an entire army. The news shakes Kai. He realizes that once a summoned creature is defeated, it cannot be summoned again for 24 hours. That means Khalid is now completely alone. The archdemon bows deeply and apologizes. Kai asks what happened. The archdemon explains that it was Saint Johann who led the attack with the Holy Knights. Khalid has been taken. Griselda questions Johann's motive and wonders why he called Kai the witness of the second cycle. Kai tries to make sense of it. He remembers that Johann has a prophecy skill. That must mean Johann knew about the second cycle even during the first. Kai starts piecing it together. If Johann's plan has been running since the first cycle, then his current goal might be connected to the heavenly barrier that protects the holy capital. If Kai defeats the Holy Demon King, Khalid may be freed automatically. He questions Johann's true aim. Could Johann be trying to return to the past or something else? The archdemon adds that Johann called Kai the Demon King, and then did the unthinkable. He used holy restraint to strip Khalid of her will, turning her into a tool against Kai. Slave magic, holy restraint, binds her completely. Kai remains quiet for a moment. He tells the archdemon to rest for now. Griselda looks at him, concerned. She sees how serious he has become. Kai speaks clearly. He says he will never forgive Johann. The church will suffer a fate worse than death. He will make sure of it. Griselda suddenly throws a heavy blow toward Kai. The force nearly knocks him off balance. He stumbles and lets out a surprised sound. Confused, he looks at her and asks what she is doing. Griselda smirks and asks if it hurt. She reminds him that she is strong. Kai lets out a tired breath, realizing she is trying to break his heavy thoughts. Griselda steps closer and reminds him he is not alone. She and Sasha are with him. They are his companions now. They will rescue Khalid together. Kai remembers how, in the first cycle, they had all been enemies. The Demon King's army, Griselda, even Ares and his own family. Now, everything has changed. He places his hand on his head, quietly thanking both of them. He finally feels like he is not alone. Then, shifting focus, he explains the challenge ahead. A strong magic barrier is being prepared to cover the holy capital. This barrier blocks anyone without permission. Breaking through it by force is nearly impossible. Even Griselda, who was the strongest in the future, had failed many times. Griselda finds it hard to believe. She asks how they are supposed to deal with that. Kai says they will send an informant inside the capital. Griselda is surprised by the idea. He explains that the barrier is powered by sacred artifacts hidden within the castle. If those are destroyed from inside, the barrier will weaken. He tells her to leave it to him. Griselda wonders if anyone would be willing to cooperate. Kai admits he already has someone in mind, but he also knows that weakening the barrier is only one step. Even if they break through, the three of them alone will not be enough. Kai decides that the first step is for Griselda to reclaim her territory. Griselda hesitates and asks about Khalid. She does not like the idea of waiting, but she understands the importance of preparing. She wants to make sure they can actually save her. Kai sees her resolve and feels reassured. Her support will make a big difference. He turns his focus back to Johan. In his mind, Johan has made the biggest mistake of his life by hurting Khalid and turning her into a tool. He has created something far worse, an even more terrifying Demon King than Griselda. Kai hears movement and realizes the enemies have arrived. He clenches his teeth. A group steps out from the shadows and calls him the Demon King. They say they are the church's sword, sent to purify him. They believe he has sinned and now must die. Griselda looks at them and wonders who they are. Kai explains that they belong to the Holy Church's secret unit. These people move in the dark and remove anyone the church sees as a problem. He feels angry. He did not expect them to act so fast. Sasha quickly fires magic arrows at them. Kai is surprised by how fast she reacts. Griselda also moves and attacks from another side. Some of the purifiers fall, but many are still standing. Griselda sees how many are left and knows they are outnumbered, but she stays calm. She tells Kai not to worry. He is not alone. Sasha is with him. Griselda is here too. They will fight together. Kai casts a spell and recognizes the group in front of him. He remembers fighting them in the first cycle. They are called the Paragar, an elite force of the Holy Church. Back then, they gave him a hard time because they never held back. But this time, he is stronger than before. He calls out Black Thunder and strikes them with power. Now that he has his allies, the battle feels different. Sasha and Griselda join in, casting their own spells and attacking with strength. The church saints also fight back, but even they are surprised. They say Kai and his team are far too powerful. Griselda unleashes a fierce magic that spreads blood across the field. She asks if this is all they have got because there is much more waiting. The saints fall to the ground one by one, crying out in pain. They cannot even hold their ground. Kai warns Griselda to stay alert. He says they are like forest rabbits. Griselda does not understand, so he explains that forest rabbits, when trapped, hide in the shadows of trees. He points to the side, and she looks. She smiles when she sees it is true. Just then, a spell unravels. It seems the enemy's magic was hiding something, but now their stamina is low. Kai tells the others to prepare for an ambush. The hidden group from the church charges forward from the trees. Griselda reacts fast, casting a powerful spell that lifts them into the sky. In an instant, they fall back down hard. Griselda laughs and says it is just like Lord Kai predicted. Sasha calls her amazing, and Griselda thanks the contract that gave her the 4 Heavenly Kings class. It has made her stronger than before. The enemies now lie defeated on the ground. Kai admits that they were stronger than he expected. He had been waiting for pursuers, but did not think they would come this quickly. Sasha brings one of them, still alive, and asks what to do. Kai says this is the perfect chance. He looks at the prisoner and says he wants to form a contract. He offers him the chance to become his familiar. The captured man is shocked. He cannot believe the demon lord is asking this. Griselda steps in. She uses her vampire powers and starts turning him into an undead. The man cries out, calling it unholy. He begs her to stop. He asks for anything else but this. Kai remains calm and asks him for his name. The man replies, Mateo. Kai looks at Mateo and makes his warning clear. Betrayal means death. Mateo understands. and agrees to make the contract. Kai allows it and grants him the class of Demon Commander. As the contract forms, power rushes through Mateo's body. The strength of the new class fills him. Griselda turns to Kai, confused. She asks why he would give such power to a human and an enemy. Kai explains that Mateo is now an informant. His plan is to send him into the royal capital with a mission. Griselda, surprised, realizes this was Kai's idea all along. Kai tells Mateo exactly what to say. He must inform Johann that the Demon Lord now holds an item that is the key to the second round, and that he is heading south. Mateo listens carefully and agrees. Kai decides that he needs more informants besides Mateo. He knows that if Johann finds out where he is, more pursuers will follow. His plan is to defeat them and then use the familiar contract to infiltrate their ranks. He thinks it would be faster if Johann came in person. When the right moment comes, he plans to use the informants to break the barrier from within. Griselda is amazed by his thinking. Sasha watches him and says that his strategy is unmatched. She calls him the strongest demon lord, both wise and brave. Kai brushes off the praise, saying they are exaggerating. Just then, the system sends a message. It congratulates him for defeating the Purger and turning him into an informant. He earns EP. Kai wonders aloud if this also counts as an evil deed. Still, he thinks if everything works out, he may gain more than just informants. He might also secure useful resources for the future. Griselda stares at Kai and remembers Khalid. The image flashes in her mind. She thinks to herself that they must rescue Khalid quickly. Sasha looks ahead and calls Lord Kai. He turns and asks what happened. She points to a wounded demon walking toward them. Griselda sees him and is shocked. She runs to him and asks what happened. Seeing his condition, she tells them to treat him at once. Griselda then says the demon territory is lost. Her voice is tense. She looks at the demon and tells him to stay strong. Kai steps forward, shocked, and calls Elsa. Kai says they are nearing the former Demon King's territory and the sun is setting. He decides they will rest in the village for the night. Sasha asks if they should. Kai responds, speaking softly, that Khalid should stay safe. He will come to save her. Sasha looks ahead and tells herself that this must be resolved quickly. A wounded demon approaches and bows. He thanks Griselda and Lady Sasha for saving him when he was near death. Griselda answers firmly that she will not let even one of her people die. The demon calls her reliable. Griselda tells him to stay hidden until they reclaim the territory. The demon agrees and warns them that their land is in a terrible state under Ilza and her faction. He explains that they are ruthless and will use any means necessary. He asks them to be careful. While they rest at a small eatery, Kai sits deep in thought, thinking about the enemy demons. He tells himself that he could crush them with one hand. At a nearby table, two men talk casually. One of them says reading is easy and fun. The other mentions that Ilza is finally receiving her noble title. Kai hears the name and quietly repeats it under his breath. The first man laughs and says that now they are officially retainers to a noble, which is exciting. Kai stays calm and reminds Griselda to hold herself back. He assures her that Ilza's rule will not last long. He says they will crush her soon. Griselda agrees. Kai wants more information about Ilza's group. He hopes to learn something useful from one of their low-level members. As they continue eating, Griselda happily says omelet rice. Kai chuckles and calls her simple-minded. Sasha leans in and offers to pour for Kai. He thanks her politely. The two men from earlier glance back at them and laugh quietly, noticing Sasha's noble manner. The two men tell Sasha and Griselda that they should change into less noticeable clothes. They say they are standing out too much. Then, one of the men walks over and jokingly asks Sasha to pour for him too. Sasha refuses. Without hesitation, the man holding a wine bottle steps closer and says he is part of Ilza's vanguard. He brags, claiming it does not matter if a lowly noble is nearby. Kai watches him closely. He realizes this is the perfect chance. The man has taken the bait. As the large man keeps talking, Griselda ignores him and continues eating her omelet rice. The man grows angry, throws the table aside, and demands that she listen. Griselda looks up and calmly calls him insolent for disturbing her meal. He stares at her, notices she is a vampire, and smirks. He asks if she is a slave. Sasha quickly steps in, holds Griselda back, and keeps her from reacting. The man laughs and says Griselda looks well-trained. He adds that he wants her for himself. Kai watches quietly from the side. He stands up and decides it is time to step in. The man turns toward him, but then sees the black magic mark on Kai's hand. He narrows his eyes and calls Kai a bold brat. He recognizes him as a C-class dark mage. Another man beside him scoffs and says it is his least favorited class. He asks if he should kill Kai. Kai stays calm. He looks at them and says they can try, after paying for the omelet rice they ruined. The man is shocked by Kai's calmness and asks why he is not running after seeing his dragon knuckle. He says Kai must have guts. Without warning, he strikes Kai and throws him to the ground with a loud crack. He grins and calls Kai a weak, dark mage, thinking he is an easy target. Kai gets up without fear and says he has questions. The man refuses, saying his only business is killing Kai and taking the women. He misjudges Kai. Just as he charges forward, Kai counters with a strong punch. The blow sends the man crashing to the ground. Kai asks if that felt strong enough. Sasha and Griselda laugh and say it felt satisfying. One of the men nearby stares in disbelief. He cannot believe a dark mage defeated a vanguard. He whispers that these people must be Ilza's enemies. Kai reveals he is level 999. The man panics, saying that cannot be true, and insists he has more strength than the average warrior. Kai steps forward and says it is time to talk. The man asks why Kai wants Ilza. Kai says he does not want to ruin his meal and suggests they talk outside. Flames appear in his hand as he warns that dark mages have many torture spells. The man gives in and agrees to tell everything. Kai listens to the information and nods. He now understands that the economy is running well because Ilza's faction is making money by using demons as slaves. He is sure both men are involved. Later, Kai returns, holding the money he received. With a light tone, he announces to the crowd that tonight is on him. The entire tavern bursts into cheers and laughter. Griselda watches and comments on how generous he is. Sasha, more cautious, wonders if the money could have been used for something better. Kai calmly replies that this is fine, if the excitement in the tavern draws attention, Ilza might become more careful. To prevent that, he plans to cast a forgetfulness spell on everyone. He knows that drunk people are more easily affected by magic. Griselda warns him that forgetfulness spells can be dangerous. Kai explains this one is a high-level spell with no risk. When the people wake up, they will simply forget about him and his companions. Griselda then asks about the leftover money. Kai answers that after repairing the tavern, the rest will go toward their travel expenses. Two men sit tied with rope, crying over the money they lost. A third man, bruised from a punch, winces in pain. The scene shifts to a bar where Kai, Sasha, and Griselda sit at a table. Around them, people laugh and enjoy the lively atmosphere. Sasha listens to Kai's explanation and says it sounds reasonable. Griselda eats her omelet rice and agrees. She suggests they get new clothes. Kai nods. Since they are entering enemy territory, they should avoid standing out. In the crowd, a girl with glasses watches them quietly. She stays hidden, her eyes fixed on their table.